If you dug into your garden bed right now and you didn't find a single earthworm, that's not a small problem. That's your soil quietly telling you it's dying. See, most beginner gardeners think earthworms just show up because a garden exists. They don't. Earthworms are picky. They are the harshest judges of soil you will ever meet, more honest than any soil test kit you can buy. If your garden isn't good enough for them, it isn't good enough for your tomatoes, your roses, or anything else you're trying to grow. But here's the part almost nobody tells you. You don't attract earthworms by working harder. You attract them by doing 3 very specific, almost lazy things that most gardeners over 60 are already halfway doing without realizing it. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what those 3 things are, and more importantly, why your garden might be missing all 3 right now. Hello, and welcome back to Evergreen Garden Tips, the home for beginner gardeners who want a beautiful, thriving garden without spending a fortune or breaking their back doing it. If this is your first time here, I am so glad you found us. Pull up a chair, get comfortable. This is a friendly, no-pressure space where we keep things simple and practical. And if you've been with us for a while, welcome back, my friend. You already know how we do things around here. Plain talk, real results, nothing complicated. Today we're talking about something small, something that lives quietly underground, but honestly does more for your garden than half the products sitting on a store shelf. We're talking about earthworms and 3 simple things that will bring them into your garden fast. Before we dig in, if you find this helpful, would you do me a small favor? Just tap that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more folks, just like you, gardeners who want honest, simple advice. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing and turning on that notification bell so you never miss a new tip. It costs nothing, and it means the world to us. Now, let's get into it. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Miss Ruth. Ruth is 71 years old, and about 2 years ago, she started her very first garden bed in her backyard. She did everything the books told her. She bought the fancy fertilizer. She bought a raised bed kit. She watered it every single morning like clockwork. And her garden grew, but it grew tired. The leaves were pale. The tomatoes were small. And every time she dug her hand into that soil, it felt like digging into a bag of flour. Dry, lifeless, almost dusty. One day her neighbor, an old farmer who had been growing vegetables since before Ruth was born, came over and asked her one simple question. He said, "Ruth, how many earthworms did you count today?" And Ruth laughed and said, "Earthworms? I haven't seen one in months." That old farmer just shook his head and said, "Well, there's your answer right there." See, that farmer knew something most of us forget. A garden without earthworms is a garden running on empty. It might look fine for a season, maybe 2, but eventually it runs out of steam, just like a car running on the last drop of gas. Earthworms are not just wiggly little creatures that make some people squeamish. They are tiny engineers working 24 hours a day, turning dead stuff into life, opening up pathways in the soil so roots can breathe, and leaving behind what farmers have called black gold for hundreds of years. So today we are not just talking theory. We're talking about 3 real, doable things that cost little to nothing, that will call those earthworms right back into your garden. And I promise you, none of these 3 things are what you'd expect. Thing number 1, stop feeding your plants. Start feeding your soil. Now stay with me here, because this sounds backwards, I know. You've probably been told your whole gardening life that your job is to feed your plants. Give them fertilizer, give them plant food, keep them fed. But here's the secret nobody tells beginners. Earthworms don't care about your plants at all, not even a little bit. Earthworms care about one thing and one thing only: dead organic matter. That's it. That's their entire diet. Fallen leaves, vegetable peels, old grass clippings, coffee grounds, crushed eggshells, torn up cardboard. To an earthworm, that's a 5-star restaurant. So when you pour synthetic fertilizer straight onto your soil hoping to help your plants, you're actually doing the opposite of what you think. You're feeding the plant directly and skipping the soil completely. And earthworms, being the picky diners that they are, will simply pack up and leave a soil like that because there's nothing there for them to eat. Here is what Miss Ruth did differently once she learned this. Instead of throwing her banana peels, potato skins, and coffee grounds in the trash, she started digging a small, shallow trench right along the edge of her garden bed, maybe 6 inches deep, and burying her kitchen scraps directly into the soil. No compost bin needed. No fancy equipment. Just a small hole, some scraps, and a covering of soil on top. This is sometimes called trench composting, but honestly, you don't even need to know the name. You just need to know the idea. Bury your kitchen waste directly where your plants are growing, a little bit at a time, rotating spots around your garden bed. Within about 3 weeks, Ruth noticed something. Every time she went to check that trench, there they were. Earthworms, gathering right at the spot where the scraps had broken down. It was like ringing a dinner bell. And here's the beautiful part, those earthworms didn't just stay in that one spot. They tunneled outward, spreading through the entire bed, leaving behind trails of what's called worm castings, which is really just a polite word for earthworm droppings. And those droppings happen to be one of the richest, most balanced natural fertilizers on planet Earth. Better than most bagged fertilizer you'd find at the store, and it costs you absolutely nothing. Now, if digging trenches sounds like too much bending and digging for your back, here's an even gentler version. Simply scatter your kitchen scraps directly onto the surface of your soil, then cover them with a thin layer of dry leaves or straw. No digging required at all. The earthworms will still find it. They're patient and they're persistent. All they need is a food source, and they will come looking for it, even if you never see them do it. One more small thing worth mentioning here. Coffee grounds deserve a special spot in this conversation. If you drink coffee, and many of us do, save those used grounds instead of tossing them. Sprinkle a light layer over your soil every few days. Coffee grounds are mildly acidic when fresh, but mellow out quickly, and earthworms are especially fond of them. Just don't overdo it. A light sprinkle is plenty. Too much all at once can throw things off balance. So thing number 1, in the simplest possible words, feed your soil real food, not chemical shortcuts. That's the first thing that brings earthworms in fast. Thing number 2, stop leaving your soil naked. This next one might be the most overlooked mistake in all of beginner gardening, and I say this with love because I made this exact mistake myself years ago. We tend to think a garden bed should look neat, tidy, clean soil with nothing on top except our plants standing there nicely spaced out. It looks organized. It looks like effort. But to an earthworm, that clean, bare soil is basically a desert. Think about it from the earthworm's point of view for a moment. Their skin needs to stay moist to survive. They breathe through it. Bare soil exposed directly to the sun heats up fast and dries out even faster. On a hot afternoon, the top few inches of uncovered soil can become genuinely dangerous for an earthworm, forcing them to burrow deep down just to survive, far away from the root zone where your plants actually need them working. So here's the second secret. Cover your soil. Always. In nature, soil is never bare. Walk into any forest and look down. You'll see a thick blanket of fallen leaves, twigs, and decaying plant material covering every inch of ground. That's not laziness on nature's part. That's the whole system working exactly as designed. That leaf blanket, called mulch, keeps the soil cool, keeps it moist, and slowly breaks down to feed the very worms living underneath it. Miss Ruth's neighbor, that wise old farmer, told her something that stuck with me too. He said the soil should never see the sky directly. And when Ruth started applying that idea, spreading a 2 to 3 inch layer of straw, shredded leaves, or even just old newspaper and cardboard over her garden bed, everything changed within weeks. Here's what's beautiful about this step. It barely costs anything. You don't need to buy expensive bagged mulch from the garden center, though you certainly can if you'd like. Fallen leaves from your own yard work wonderfully. Shredded newspaper works. Cardboard with the tape removed works. Even grass clippings from mowing your lawn, spread in a thin layer so they don't clump and get slimy, work beautifully too. You're essentially recycling what your yard already gives you for free and turning it into a cozy blanket that earthworms cannot resist. And here's a small bonus most people don't realize. That same mulch layer that protects your earthworms also cuts down dramatically on how often you need to water, because it locks moisture into the soil instead of letting it evaporate away in the sun. It also smothers out a good number of weeds before they even get the chance to sprout. So you're not just inviting earthworms in, you're saving your own back from extra watering and weeding at the very same time. For anyone gardening in containers or raised beds, this same principle still applies. Just a thin layer of mulch on top makes a world of difference. Earthworms may find their way into containers too, especially if you're using a rich compost mix, and that same covering keeps conditions comfortable for them. So thing number 2, in plain and simple words, cover your soil like nature would. Never let it sit bare and exposed. That blanket is doing more work than you'd ever imagine. Now, before we move on to the third thing, and honestly, this third one might be the biggest surprise of the entire video, I want to pause for just a moment. If you're finding this useful so far, this would be the perfect time to hit that like button, drop a comment down below telling me where you're gardening from and what you're hoping to grow this season, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We post new tips, just like this one regularly, all designed to help you grow a beautiful garden without spending a fortune. It really does help this channel grow when you engage like that, and it helps us keep making these videos for you. All right, let's get into thing number 3. Thing number 3, let the rain teach you how to water. This third one surprises almost everybody because it has nothing to do with how much you water and everything to do with how you water. Most beginner gardeners water their plants the same way every single time, a steady stream from a hose or a watering can hitting the same spot at the same pressure day after day. It waters the plant just fine, but it does something to the soil structure that quietly chases earthworms away over time. See, earthworms build an intricate network of tiny tunnels underground. These tunnels are actually incredibly important. They let air reach plant roots, they let water drain properly, they let the whole soil ecosystem breathe. But heavy, forceful watering, especially the same repeated blast in the same spot, compacts soil down over time, collapsing those delicate tunnels the earthworms worked so hard to build. Imagine building a house one careful brick at a time, and then having someone stomp through it every single day. Eventually, you'd move somewhere else too. Rain, on the other hand, falls gently, spread out evenly, softly across an entire area, soaking in slowly rather than compacting the surface. That's exactly the kind of watering earthworms thrive under. So here's the practical version of this idea, the one you can actually use today. Instead of blasting your garden bed with a hard direct stream from the hose, switch to a gentle watering method. A watering can with a rose head attachment, which is that little perforated piece that breaks the water into soft droplets, works wonderfully. A drip system works even better if you have access to one, and there are very inexpensive versions available now that even a beginner can set up in an afternoon. And if it rains regularly where you live, that's your garden's best friend. Let nature do that watering for you whenever it can, and only step in with your own gentle watering during the dry stretches. There's something else worth mentioning here, and it ties beautifully into everything we've already talked about. Avoid chemical pesticides and harsh weed killers as much as you possibly can, especially anything sprayed directly on a bare soil. These products don't just target the pest or weed they're aimed at. They seep down and disrupt the delicate world earthworms live in. Many beginner gardeners don't realize that a single application of certain weed killers can wipe out an earthworm population in a garden bed for months, sometimes longer. If you're dealing with pests or weeds, there are gentler, natural methods, companion planting, hand picking, or simple homemade solutions that protect your garden without harming the very creatures working hardest to keep your soil alive. So put all of this together. Water gently, like rainfall, not like a fire hose. Avoid harsh chemicals whenever you can, and your soil will stay loose, breathable, and inviting. Exactly the kind of home an earthworm wants to settle down in for good. So let's recap these 3 things in the simplest way possible, because I want you to walk away from this video with something you can actually use in your garden this very week. Thing number 1, feed your soil, not just your plants. Bury or scatter your kitchen scraps, your coffee grounds, your fallen leaves, right into the garden bed itself. Thing number 2, never let your soil sit bare and exposed. Cover it with a blanket of mulch, straw, shredded leaves, or cardboard, just like nature always does. Thing number 3, water gently like a soft rainfall rather than a hard blast. and stay away from harsh chemicals that disturb the delicate underground world earthworms depend on. Do these 3 things consistently, and I promise you, within just a few weeks, you will start noticing more earthworms in your garden bed. And where the earthworms go, healthy soil follows. And where healthy soil is, healthy plants are never far behind. Remember Miss Ruth from earlier in this video? Within about 2 months of making these changes, her garden completely transformed. The soil that once felt like dry flour in her hands turned soft, dark, and crumbly, the kind of soil that holds together gently when you squeeze it but falls apart easily when you let go. Her tomatoes came in fuller and sweeter than they ever had before. And every single time she goes out to the garden now, she says the very first thing she does is check for her little underground helpers. And more often than not, they're right there waiting for her. Gardening well isn't about spending more money or working harder. It's about understanding the small, quiet systems that have been working since long before any of us were born and simply getting out of their way, then helping them along just a little. If this video helped you see your garden a little differently today, that genuinely makes my day. Do me one small favor before you go. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It truly helps this channel reach more beginner gardeners just like you. Drop a comment down below and let me know, have you seen earthworms in your garden lately? Or is it time to start bringing them back? I read every single comment, and I love hearing from this community. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing. We share simple, honest gardening tips every week, made especially for beginners who want a beautiful garden without the stress or the expense. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Go give your soil a little love this week, and I will see you in the very next video. Take care and happy gardening.